Welcome back to another episode of TVGP's We Roguelike It. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpear.
Hello.
It's our second week of Balatro. How was, what was in the cards for this week, Moon?
I
Goodbye.
hate you so much. So I'll be honest, I barely had a chance to play this week.
Mm-hmm.
I think I managed like 3 or 4 runs, and they were all bad runs.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Real bad runs,
Mm-hmm.
horrifically bad runs, one might say, where I can't even really get past the first boss thing.
I have so many of those. So we were talking about that in the Discord this week, and I'm playing a lot of this and a lot of Slice and Dice.
Uh-huh.
And I like that both of these games have the same thing where you can get into a run and you kind of get like through the first maybe fight or two in either game and be like, oh boy,
And
this,
you immediately get the yips.
yeah, like this run does not feel right. This is not going to be a
Uh-huh.
winner. Every 1% of the time you get a trash run that turns into something more interesting. But I like that I have played a lot of this game and still not even 50% of my runs, probably not even
Uh-huh.
25% of my runs are guaranteed wins. Um, and I like that. Like, I like these games sort of saying, like, look, if you're going to turn a bad run into something good, you got to either work for it because you know how to kind of break the game open a little bit, or you better get
Uh-huh.
really lucky. Um,
I
and
haven't even had a win yet, dude.
yeah, I I had a lot of wins this week, but they came at the cost of a lot of losses. Like a lot of losses. um, let's run down. I wrote a lot of notes this week. So for anyone that hasn't checked out the Discord server, if you're playing any of these roguelikes with us, or you're still playing Balatro or Slice and Dice while you're talking, it's kind of, these are the only two games we're talking about in the Discord server. Visit tvgp.tv and click on the Discord link on the right hand side of the page. Come join us and share all your cool plays or 20-person raids and Slice and Dice and all that.
Yep. Or all your bad runs, and we can lament with you because trust us, we've been there.
Yeah, because like most of my week this week has been struggling with the black deck, which is you get one more Joker, but you get one less hand. And that has been the thing. I don't care about the extra Joker. Like, I can scoop up negative Jokers as much as I need to. That doesn't matter. Um, but the fact that I'm getting through, like, oh, I got my first 3 hands. I'm so close to the, wait, no, I lost? Oh, right. I only have 3 hands instead of 4 at the beginning of this run. Okay,
Uh-huh.
cool. That's great. So that's been my week a lot of the times where it's like, 450 chips. Pff, I can do that. No big. Wait, I lost? It's just
Yeah.
like, oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah, cool. Okay. Maybe I should stop skipping the very first small blind just to get a polychrome Joker in the store that I'm not going to get to because I can't get to 450 chips. Um,
Uh-huh.
I I finally beat that deck this week, and it was one of those wildly unreal runs where
Uh-huh.
I think I had 8 Jokers all told, and each one of them synergized with each other, and then all the way at the end of the lineup of Jokers, I finally had a run that I could use Campfire on. And Campfire is a Joker that I don't think I appreciated until this run. And it's every time you beat a boss blind, its multiplier resets to 1, and it increases its multiplier by either 0.25 or zero point 0.5 every time you sell a card. So the beginning of your run, Campfire is not great because you don't even have like 2 pennies to rub together.
Uh-huh.
On this run, I managed to get to like ante 5 or 6 and scoop up Campfire, and had such a great run. I'm just buying whatever I can in the shop and selling it. so by the boss blind, I had, it was like point or 6.5 or 7 times multiplier on the end of 8 other jokers. So I'm just delivering a chip amount that is truly ludicrous. Um, and that that was a relief getting that done, because I feel like I needed a kind of a, not a perfect setup, but one that I could kind of craft into being better. But that wasn't that wasn't my best run this week. My best run
Okay.
was, so I did a bunch of other stuff, like I beat my first red stake difficulty run on the abandoned deck. So abandoned deck is a very small deck that has no face cards in it. Um, and red stake, you don't get any.
Hold
Yeah,
on. Abandoned, so the parents abandoned all of the children, is basically what that's getting at.
probably. The deck also looks like it's really worn, like someone left it outside. So I'm not sure if it's that, if it means that or whatever. Um, the red stake also means that you don't get any rewards for the small blind in any ante, which isn't terrible once you get a run going, but those first like 1 or 2 or 3 antes is really rough. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I had a run with the abandoned deck that the list of things I unlocked is truly ridiculous. Had I got a run done that was, I won in under 12 rounds, because every
Wow.
time that I skipped, I don't remember what the Joker is, but it looks like an 80s guy with like a VR headset on. Every time you skip a blind, it increases its multiplier by 0.25 times. Um, so by the end of that run, I had a pretty ridiculously high run. I got the trophy for having more than $400 in hand at once.
Okay.
Um, Paired that with the Bull Joker, which gives you 2 chips for every dollar you have in hand. So by the end of that run, I'm putting up 1,000 chips per hand, and then multiplying and timesing that and all of that. You'll be surprised to find out that I did 1,000,000 chips in one hand at the end of that run, because I'm putting
Oh
up,
wow.
like, I have 2 pair at level 25 plus 1,000 chips plus 50 mult times this times that. Like, it got pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous. Um, I accidentally won that run without re-rolling the shop, because I kind of didn't need to buy anything. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I found out this week there's a card, there's a Joker I didn't understand, and it's either Spaceman or Space Joker. I don't remember what it's called, but the description on the card says, like, it has a 1 in 4 chance, I believe it is, to upgrade your played hand. What I thought that meant was, oh, I play a 2 pair, and this time that I play it, it gets upgraded from like level 3 to level 4. That's not the case. It upgrades it permanently.
Okay.
So if you have a run that's already going really well, like you have a bunch of jokers that are buffing, let's say, pairs or 2 pair or something like that, and you're just playing one hand over and over again, it's buffing that hand pretty frequently just through the stratosphere. So I'm at like level 25 or something. I'm starting with like 450 chips times 25 before any of the cards are getting counted, before any of the jokers are getting applied to any of that. Um, so like I reach ante 12 in that run as well. I bought 10 vouchers in one run. Um, I I was doing really well, because by the end of ante 11, I was putting up between $4 and $7 million or chips per hand. And then I got to ante
Oh
12, and the
Jesus.
small blind was like, all right, now you need to get 300 million chips. And I was just like, oh, word? Yeah, that's not happening. So that's where that run ended, unsurprisingly. But like, that's the thing that
8
I'm.
is a victory, right? 8
8 is
is
a
the
victory.
quote
Yeah.
unquote victory.
And then when you win, you have an option to do endless mode, which is like you can just keep playing, and the chip requirements get exponentially higher as you go, kind of like how they do in the main 8 antes, but now we're
Mhm.
talking about multi millions of points. I also did a whole bunch of other stuff this week, but like the thing that I'm really enjoying about Balatro now is the thing that I don't always get in a lot of roguelikes, which is being able to get either an upgrade or some jokers or like the right spectral card or the right tarot cards in your first 2 or 3 or 4 shops, and being able to kind of identify where your deck needs to go, or saying like, oh, I'm playing a special deck at this point, so here are the jokers I need, here are the cards I need to add, here are the cards I need to delete from my deck, and kind of start crafting your deck to get the most value out of your hand levels, your jokers, and your stuff. Like that to me is where I was enjoying Balatro last week, but for me, I feel like Balatro continues to get better and better because I feel like it's rewarding me for manipulating the game and kind of breaking it open in interesting ways that we don't always get with a bunch of roguelikes. Um, we started seeing that in things like Vampire Survivors. We were like, oh, okay, well,
Mhm.
if I pick up this and I pick up, okay, this synergizes, and oh, if I play with this character, I do this, I can kind of break this game open in interesting ways. And I understand why people don't like Balatro, and I certainly respect it, but what keeps me playing this game so much, I think, is the kind of dichotomy between all the gameplay is from like a moment to moment thing is just what's the best poker hand you can make. And you know
Yeah.
those. Like most people are going to know this. If not, you can pick this game up, you're going to learn it really quickly. And thankfully, if you on the PS5 you hit the touchpad, it brings up all the hands you can play, the ones that you have unlocked. Because I played some extra hands this week, you can probably figure out what those are. Um, it tells you exactly. It's like, oh, here's what a straight flush is. Here's what a royal flush is, and stuff like that. It tells you that in the main menu, which I really appreciate. But I like being able to take this very simple
There's also
mechanic.
shortcut buttons. Like you can also
Yes,
like there's quick keys to show you what hands are there. There's also a peek at your deck option where you can look at what cards you've used and what cards you haven't since the reshuffle.
yes, I've been using that peek at your deck option a lot more. This is a lot of like, all right, I'm like 3 hands into this round. What do I have coming up that can I get a better hand out of what I have, or am I trying to make a 4 of a kind happen out of these threes, and I have no more threes left in my deck? Like, am I getting to that point? Um, but I like being able to take this simple mechanic and apply this like whatever it's doing to my brain. I love synergies, and like I said last week, this is synergies the game, and
Yes.
I like that kind of back and forth of like, oh yeah, I can match suits and I can make 4 of a kind, but how can I take this simple mechanic and kind of make it as big and grandiose, and getting that almost like idle game satisfaction of like I did this simple thing and then pew 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 pew. You know, like a million things happen, and next thing you know, I have 30 billion points, and I played just 2 sevens. You know, like being able to
Yeah.
craft that feels so good.
See, I still need to get into the loop of figuring out how and what I want to upgrade. Like, the
Mm-hmm.
planetary cards seem so important, but I just feel like I don't ever get them.
Yeah, they are. That's been part of what I've been trying to do this week is say like, how can I? And obviously, like we're saying, it's not always successful. How can I take what I've been given and make a winning run out of it? It's like, how can I take what I have in my pantry and my fridge that's going to expire and make a stew out of it? You know, it's just like, let's throw a bunch of
Hmm.
stuff in here and see if it works. Sometimes I'll get runs where it's like, boy, I would really love a planetary card because I'd love to upgrade literally any hand I have at all. And it's like, nope, here's more tarot cards that turn your cards into diamonds. And it's like, cool, I don't need that. Thank you. Um, but there are some where it's just like, okay, cool, I'm just getting planetary cards and I don't have any jokers because there's literally nothing in the store. That's okay, cool, great. Um, so that's I, like what I talked about at the beginning. I kind of like that where it's like you're not guaranteed, you know,
Yeah.
a tarot pack and a planetary pack in every store. You know, there's nothing like that.
Hmm.
It really is up to chance.
Yeah. So the funny thing is, I think I've been a little frustrated recently by RNG stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm playing a lot of roguelikes at the moment because I just need something small and bite-sized because I don't have the time to
Yeah.
really get into anything. Um, and because of that, I'm playing a lot of roguelikes I have installed. I'm playing Slice and Dice. I'm playing crossword games, which are not a roguelike, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm playing a lot of Loop Hero, and all of the like
Mm.
the two roguelikes are heavily RNG based.
That's
Like
right.
I'm like three things away from beating Loop Hero, like three things away from getting full gamer score on Loop Hero and being done with that thing.
Yep.
And it's literally the things I need are all RNG based. And it's like, guys,
I love that you.
I just need these last three things.
I love
And
that you.
it feels like I'm getting punched in the face by
Yeah,
these
because like
things.
you're playing three random roguelikes. One is card based, one is dice based, and one is drop based. Like,
Uh, it's three different forms of RNG, and they're
right.
all screwing me at the moment, and it feels terrible. So
You
it's
need
like,
to fire up Atomicrops again.
yeah,
That's
basically yes,
that's the
because
tonic for
I've
what
still,
ails you.
yeah, that or the Genesis Alpha One,
Oh,
because
there you
that's
go.
a lot less rogue based, a lot
Mm-hmm.
less RNG based,
Yep.
minus invasions from robot metal Terminator looking people.
That's right. Oh, you mean Helldivers too?
So yes, that too. Funnily enough,
Funnily enough, not a roguelike
yeah.
of all the games. Yeah. Yeah, but there's this game is really clicking with me in a way that um I'm finally figuring out why, because it's, you know, sometimes you play those games and you're like, this is a game made for me, and I'm not
Hmm.
sure why, but I'm playing the hell out of it. Also, it's
Yeah.
very pausable and it's very kid friendly, which I'm greatly appreciating as someone who's trying to finish Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is the opposite of that. I appreciate that I have a game now where it's like, yeah, I can just put the controller down and walk away no matter what I'm doing, and the game does not care. Um, Although this music will
Yeah.
be seared into my memory for probably the next 50 years of my life. So I finally moved from this music is cool to the valley of like, oh, there's really just one song, to back up this week of just like, hell yeah, there's one song and it's a banger. Let's go. So I don't know. I love Balatro. Do you have any final thoughts here for week two? Since I'll put my soapbox down about Balatro.
I don't know. I'm enjoying it, but it's one of those games where I'm just like trying to find that zone still. Like I'm still trying to. Like normally, I will jump into these things head first and be done like
Mm-hmm.
really quickly and be like, okay, now I know what I'm aiming for. Isaac is a good example of that. It's like, okay, these are the items I prefer, these are the whatever I prefer, but in this, it's just like I just haven't had the time to sit down and do like maybe 2 hours of solid runs, even if I'm only doing
Right.
like, two or three, or like antis or bosses or whatever you want to call them. I
Hmm.
haven't gotten into that loop yet where I know what I want and stuff like that. I did
Right.
an experimental run today where I had a zero discards build,
Oh, nice. Okay.
where I had a Joker that threw away all my discards but give me +3 hands. I had a
Oh,
different
okay.
Joker that was mult of 20 when I had zero discards left.
Yeah, there you go.
Um, and I had another Joker that gave me two random Jokers whenever I started the ante. And
Yes.
that having that Joker is allowing me to remember that I can sell stuff all of the time. Like whenever I
Mm-hmm.
need to, I can just go in and hit the sell button on Jokers that don't work very well with whatever the case may be.
Yep.
And it went well up until the point where like I hit a boss where it debuffed every single anti or every single card that I'd used in this blind,
Oh, that's so
and
rough.
I had happened to have done both of the small and the big blinds before noticing that, so every card was done, and I was just like, okay,
Yeah, because you have
so
no discards, so
you
you're
suck.
playing everything, so everything's
Everything.
gonna
Yeah.
be. Oh, that's rough. Yeah, that's a real. I've
Uh-huh.
been in that position too, where I'm like, all right, I can see the boss blind here. I gotta either. I can't skip these two because I need money. I'll find something in the shop that will let me either disable or re-roll the boss blind, and then that never comes up, and it's like, whoop, guess I'm losing. All right.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, yeah. Hopefully, you get some time this week to kind of take a bigger bite out of Balatro and see if it clicks with you.
Yeah. Hopefully.
All right. Well, that's our episode for this week. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. We'll see you all next run. Bye.
Bye.